Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Colton Ogburn, and these are all the Easter eggs, references, and little things you might have missed in the Season 2 premiere of Fallout. So before we get into breaking down the episode, let's recap where we left off with that huge cliffhanger in Season 1. Now, at the end of Season 1, Lucy discovers her dad's villainous past. He wasn't initially a vault dweller like her. Instead, Hank McClane worked for Vault Tech, the company that caused the Great War. Now, Hank would have killed Lucy and Maximus, her friend from the Brotherhood of Steel, if they hadn't been saved by the Ghoul. Now, we learned through flashbacks in Season 1 that the Ghoul used to be Cooper Howard, a Hollywood Western star before the war. His wife, Barb, helped orchestrate the bombings at Vault Tech.
By dropping the bomb ourselves.
Now, the Ghoul lets Hank escape because he believes that Hank will flee to wherever Barb is hiding. Lucy then joins the Ghoul, leaving Maximus behind. Now, Maximus is treated as a hero by the Brotherhood of Steel, who are under the impression that he took down the commander of the New California Republic. So Hank, he runs off to Las Vegas, which sets up Season 2 to adapt Fallout New Vegas, a fan favorite game in this franchise. Now, this first episode of Season 2, it also borrows themes and aesthetics from Fallout 4. The episode is titled The Man Who Knew, which applies to the flashback sequences that we see throughout the episode. We see civilians protesting Robco. One of their signs says robot equals scab, which refers to scab workers or strike breakers. So these protesters, they don't want their jobs taken by robots under the corporations. One of those corporations is GAI, which stands for General Atomics International, a rival to Robco. Now, we saw one of these in episode 4 of Season 1.
Let's get you taken care of. Follow me.
Although that one was a Mark IV, so it's safe to say that the one in this flashback is probably an early prototype or maybe even a Mark I. Now, these strikes most likely refer to the automation riots, where the laborers would strike after having robots take away their jobs, a movement largely due to Robco's replacement of human workers, which was shown in Fallout 76.
Ah, geez. Good thing that wouldn't happen now, huh?
Anyway, we see an airship above the beach looking like the Pridwin, which is unusual for the pre-war time period. According to Fallout 4, Brotherhood of Steel airships like that one were usually a post-war invention. More could have been built, but the material would be hard to find. Now, in Season 1, we learned from the original Knight Titus that the Brotherhood are obsessed with pre-war technology. So the new Brotherhood airships might be based on new pre-war inventions. Now, in a bar nearby, we see customers shaking their fist at Mr. House on the TV. Robert House is the founder of Robco, and we saw him last season in the meetings with Vault Tech, played by Rafi Silver. Now, in Season 2, they have a different actor, Justin Theroux, playing Mr. House. Kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
Well, Rafi Silver is still playing Mr. House in some of the meeting and commercial scenes, while Theroux runs experiments behind the scenes. Now, in an interview with 4P, Theroux said that
there will be some plot that will clear up that discrepancies.
So it's not like a recast at all. It's part of the story, and perhaps there are multiple Mr. Houses. Now, he also said that his version isn't reflective of Silva's character, but vice versa. So the lead writer for Fallout New Vegas claimed that Mr. House was initially based on Howard Hughes. The sense of the character, however, changed with the rise of Silicon Valley tech bros who act like messiahs. So the show could be representing these different ideologies through different versions of Mr. House. Now, we won't spoil it here, but if you know anything about Fallout lore, or if you've seen the trailer, multiple versions of Mr. House foreshadows his apocalypse counterpart. When Mr. House threatens one of the customers, he mentions the H&H nail gun, which is a weapon from the Lonesome Road DLC in Fallout New Vegas. He also roasts the hell out of this guy.
You know, I try and see it from your perspective, but it's hard to imagine being so dim as to be caught off guard by the inevitable.
But what he says here is important. To Mr. House, the technology from his company will rule the Earth one day, and he sees these working class people as dumb for not seeing that. Now, a lot of you may be noticing that we are using more stock footage lately in our videos. See, we've started using 4K stock footage to add a higher production value to our videos. And we're also starting to use more advanced transitions and templates from story blocks. In fact, that's the main reason that we are stepping up up our game. Storyblocks has everything we need in one place, which is why they are one of our favorite sponsors that we work with here on the channel. Storyblocks offers you unlimited downloads of high-quality media for one predictable subscription cost. This is everything you need in one place: 4K and HD video, templates, sound effects, images, even the music you're hearing right now. This is the perfect tool if you're already a creator or you want to get started. You can choose a monthly or annual plan with no hidden fees, and this is an authentic stock library created by real artists. Having access to this unlimited source of material has broadened our creative horizon, and it gives us ideas that we never would have thought of otherwise. And I love knowing that this is unique footage created by real people, real artists around the world. The Storyblock templates on here are incredible, and they add so much more production value to our videos, and everyone thinks, oh, that must have taken hours to do, when you're actually just using a customizable video template for After Effects, Apple Motion, DaVinci, or Premiere. In fact, you can get the Premiere plugin and use Storyblocks right in your edit pane. So to get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, head to storyblocks.com/ScreenCrush or click the link in the description below. Now, back to what I was saying. Now, when the workers take him outside, we see a Radiation King logo on this van. Radiation King was a pre-war company that also supplied Vault-Tec with TVs and appliances for the vaults. Now, Mr. House experiments on his enemies with a mind-controlled chip that we've never seen before. However, it does share similarities with Implied Hypnotic Inc.'s Mesmetron gun. In Fallout 3, the Mesmetron overloads a target's brain, overwhelming them until they submit. Now, it isn't a guaranteed win since there are side effects. There's a small chance that the target breaks out into a violent frenzy to stop the noises in their head. There's also a chance that their head just cannot handle it and they explode, which happens to Mr. House's guinea pig in this scene. Now, this flashback is underscored with Cheek to Cheek by Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. The line, "And I seem to find the happiness I seek," plays as the title card drops. Now, this might be a nod to Lucy and her sunny disposition. She's entered the wasteland trying to rescue her father, but also wanting to see the good in people, like in this next scene. So our duo, they have made it to Novak, a location in the Mojave Wasteland from Fallout New Vegas. The ghoul is a prisoner to the Great Khans, a raider tribe in the Mojave. Now, there's also a whole history that we don't have time to get in now, but when Robert House made a claim to the Vegas area, he gave casinos and his protection to 3 tribes who ended up warring with the Great Khans and forced them to settle in Bitter Springs. Now, after tiffing with the NCR, they relocated to Red Rock Canyon in the Mojave Wasteland. For a prisoner, the ghoul is looking a lot cleaner than his Season 1 look. Now, this could just be part of the design for the new season, or it might be a subtle nod to Lucy's influence on him. The ghoul might pretend to be this cold-blooded killer, but Lucy's time with him in Season 1 softened him a bit. So the Great Khans, they hold the ghoul hostage in the Dino Delight Motel. The motel in the show, however, does differ slightly from the game, as there is typically not a pool. Now, this is also where in the game and here in the show where the dinky T-Rex statue resides, although here in the show, he's facing the wrong way. You see, the town is usually filled with residents, and the location protector, Boone, sits in the sniper window of Dinky's mouth, but in the show, Lucy hides there to free the ghoul. So she tries to reason with the raiders, which calls back to her golden rule from Season 1.
Do unto others as you'd have done unto you.
They respond in typical Wastelander fashion.
Whoever kills the girl gets to eat the dog.
What did he say?
Nothing to, don't worry about it, buddy. So when Lucy aims at the raiders, she intentionally shoots them in their limbs so she isn't killing anyone. So, despite her dad betraying their values, we see that she still has this optimistic point of view. This is also a reference to the VATS in the games, also known as the Vault-Tec Assisted Targeting System. This is the gameplay mechanic Fallout is most known for, where ranged attacks can select specific body parts, and the VATS show the probable accuracy for shooting each limb. Now, as the ghoul plays with his victims, the song Big Iron by Marty Robbins plays. This is a prominent song for Fallout New Vegas. It plays on multiple in-game radio stations. Now, the lyrics also call back to Cooper Howard's background as a cowboy actor. Now, when Lucy and the ghoul make it to New Vegas, Lucy comments on how it looks just like the pictures. The ghoul then reveals that this is because Mr. House shot down the bombs before they landed on his territory, just like in the games. Mr. House protected protected his home city with the hopes of restoring it himself. So we then get a flashback to the day that Cooper Howard found out his wife was behind the bombings. Now, when Cooper rushes home to get his daughter, we see a mural of horses on the wall, probably because this mansion was paid for by his acting gigs as a cowboy. Now, Janie and Cooper standing in front of horses likens back to the opening of the show when the father and the daughter try to escape the first bomb on horseback. Now, while driving away, a practice shelter drill begins. This scene is a nod to Fallout 4's opening. The guy in the suit and fedora coming from the Vault-Tec van looks exactly like the Vault-Tec representative who comes to your house and says your family has been selected to enter the vaults. Once the leaders plan to drop the bombs, the sirens start to blare, indicating your progression into the vaults. Although, in the show, this was just a test run. So the song Make the World Go Away by Eddie Arnold plays, which is very apt for a show about the world being destroyed by radiation. The song is also about Cooper leaving his life behind. Running away with Janie means that his world, or his life with Barb, is going away, and now his world is just his daughter. Now, the next song is Come Go With Me by the Del Vikings from 1957. This doo-wop song has inspired many other songs, including Sean Kingston's Dumb Love.
Make me dumb, 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 wow, 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 wow.
So we catch up with the Vault Dwellers from last season. In case you forgot, after Hank was kidnapped, Vault 33 held elections for a new overseer, and Betty Pearson won. However, Norm learned in the season finale that the overseers are not Vault-born citizens, but instead cryogenically frozen corporate employees from Vault 31. These overseers are part of Bud's Buds, which Bud Askin tried to sell Cooper on in season 1.
Well, I call it Bud's Buds. The basic idea is that the biggest obstacle to achievement has been the brevity of the human lifespan.
Now, in the Fallout universe, each vault is an experiment for whoever owns the vault. Vaults 31 through 33 are for Bud Askin. He wants to create a group of like-minded executives who will inherit the planet once all other factions crumble. And this is partly why Lucy is so positive. Her life was a social experiment that babied the test subjects. That's also why so many of the Vault Dwellers here are incompetent or just weird. Now, Betty says Norm is participating in a leadership exchange program with Vault 31, which tells us she's still loyal to Vault-Tec. Now, somehow the brain, aka Bud, alerted her that Norm is trapped in Vault 31. Bud then confirms this later when he says,
"We have a protocol for everything, including when someone goes missing from a vault. Your overseer will handle it. No one is coming for you, buddy."
Now, back with Lucy and the ghoul, they come across an old lady whose son has been kidnapped by Hank.
Just my kind of luck. Cocksucker owed me money.
Now, it's not an exact one-to-one, but this sounds a lot like the side quest Order Up at Drumlin Diner from Fallout 4. There, a non-player character named Patrick owes money to a drug dealer, but he can't pay, so his mother, Trudy, is on the hook for it. The duo passes a Starlight Drive-In, which is an in-universe chain from the games. The marquee shows Cooper's old movie, A Man and His Dog 3. This movie is referenced on a poster in Fallout 76, Burning Springs, and we also saw a poster for the first in the trilogy during Barb's party in Season 1, Episode 6. Now, the title is in reference to the 1975 film and book A Boy and His Dog. Fallout creator Tim Kaine cites the book as a major inspiration for the games in both the Wasteland and a post-war United States. This film is also where they got the name Dogmeat. You see, Fallout was also inspired by Mad Max 2, which in turn was inspired by A Boy and His Dog. Tim Kaine mentions that Mad Max 2 was additional inspiration for Dogmeat because Leonard Boyarsky had the film playing on repeat during the development of the game. And he made the comment that having a dog companion in the game would be, quote, really cool. Now, one character in the first game, Phil, mentions Dogmeat's former owner, which is similar to Max in Mad Max 2. Quote, "Oh, the guy was tall, dark-haired with a little graying around the edges. He was dressed in all black leather, like that's a good idea in the desert, and he carried a shotgun." All, of course, in reference to Mad Max. We then get another flashback where we learn that Cooper was driving to meet Lee Moldaver. We see his daughter playing Whack-A-Commie, which illustrates the Cold War, us versus them mentality that America found itself in during this time period. This anti-communism mindset spurred many people to turn on their fellow neighbors, which caused individualism to rise as the prevailing ideology. We saw some of this in the beginning of episode 3 of season 1 when Cooper's previous writer was deemed a communist, so they rewrote the script to be less about justice and more about personal revenge. So the storyline here inspired young Hank, which we saw in episode 8 of season 1, but I'll get more into that in a bit. Anyway, Moldaver pushes Cooper to use his connections as a way to kill Mr. House. She believes that Vault-Tec will soon seal a deal with him and Robco will be the nuclear supplier. So when Cooper goes home, the news station on the radio asks,
Who will push the button?
and this ties back into the name of the episode. At this moment, Cooper Howard is the man who knew. He knows Mr. House will push that button. Now, when Barb enters the kitchen, the poster behind her reads Revenge of Brutus, which could be foreshadowing how Cooper and Moldaver's plan ends up going. Brutus is the infamous backstabber of Julius Caesar. So if we assume that Barb's betrayal of Coop's trust in season 1 makes her Brutus, what is she getting revenge for? Did she find the bug that Cooper planted in her Pip-Boy? Now, as we transition back to the Wasteland, the song It's All Over, but the Crying by the Ink Spots begins to play. This is a classic song used in Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. Now, back in Vault 31, Norm is close to giving up. Bud offers him rational solutions, but Norm decides to act irrationally to break the uniformity of Bud's buds. When he thaws out all the frozen leaders, this could be an inversion of Fallout 4's opening sequence where all the Vault members die in cryo chamber, except for the player. We see Lucy and the Ghoul enter Vault 24, which is a deep cut from the games. Vault 24 is a location cut from Fallout New Vegas, and you can't visit the vault in the game, but a Vault 24 jumpsuit does exist in the game's files, but it can only be accessed through PC console commands. So they find out that Vault 24 was hypnotizing Americans to believe in communist ideologies. The video says, quote, "We choose people over product," which insinuates that the US is all about products over people, and communism is for the people. It seems like this vault wanted to push how far the mind control technology could progress. It's possible that Vault-Tec and or Robco wanted patsies to blame the nukes on, but it wouldn't make sense to raise them in a vault during post-war times. So they follow a trail of cereal to find the old lady's son from earlier. Hank is controlling him, and he calls Lucy Sugar Bomb, just like in season 1.
My little sugar bomb.
He begins to cry, and his demands for Lucy to go home turn into pleas for his own sake.
Go home.
His head then explodes just like the guy from the flashback, so this means the technology hasn't advanced that much. And this is kind of a morbid realization for the audience. Vault-Tec and Robco permanently scarred the world, and yet each of their vault experiments show little to no progress. They're really just lunatics. It's also really ironic to have a cereal called Sugar Bombs given the premise of this franchise. Okay, so to bring the episode home, Hank finally reaches the Vault-Tec Corporation in Vegas and starts it up again. As he parades around the office, tidying up, the song Working for the Man by Ray Orbison plays, which perfectly sums up Hank's twisted mentality. Supposedly, he tries to contact Mr. House in the global comms room, which is interesting because Hank knows Mr. House is from Vegas.
I'm in Vegas these days, back in your old stomping grounds, actually.
So this kind of implies that Hank doesn't know where Mr. House could be. He's assuming that the rich man could be bunkered anywhere in the world. Now, what Hank says into the mic is crucial to understanding his character. He set himself free. He doesn't have to pretend to be a vault dweller anymore. He roams the wasteland in power armor. But what is he searching for? A return to the working man lifestyle, which goes counter to his individualist ideals? In season 1's finale, he praises Cooper Howard's acting.
Feo fuerte y formal. Means he was ugly, strong, and had dignity.
Now, we're told that Hank values the individual. He believes their faction should outlast all of the others, but when given the chance to be an individual, he runs to Mr. House to join a new collective. Now, notice how he ends this monologue. He doesn't say he'll rule the wasteland or be Mr. House's successor. He says,
"When this is all over, you will be begging me to help you."
Now, the end credits show a few landmarks from the town of Prim. Prim and its attractions are a major part of the New Vegas game. Prim is situated in the Mojave Wasteland, and here you can see the Mojave Express. Now, this is where the courier, or the player character, works at the start of the game. Now, the courier was one of 6 messengers to deliver a platinum chip to Mr. House, the other 5 being dummy deliverymen to throw off rivaling factions. Now, you can see the Bison Steve Hotel, the NCR flag, and El Diablo Diablo roller coaster, all of these being landmarks in a major InVQuest location. Now, these shots all lead to a sign of the Lucky 38 billboard showing the face of Season 1 Mr. House. Now, Fallout game fans will know what we find there, but to new viewers, Lucky 38 is like the bedrock for Mr. House and his whole story. This episode concludes with a season trailer showing what's to come in the following episodes. Now, based on these scenes, we have a few predictions on what this season will bring. This is your spoiler warning if you don't want to know anything, so if you don't want to be spoiled, tune away. All right, ready? Here we go. In the season trailer, we see Maximus's fellow Brotherhood of Steel member, Dane, say, "The Commonwealth is gonna kill us." In the first trailer, we saw the Pridwin, a large airship from the Brotherhood of Steel. At first, it didn't really make sense to see it because the show takes place on the West Coast, whereas the Commonwealth is located in Massachusetts on the East Coast. And then later on, we see actor Kumail Nanjiani playing a Brotherhood of Steel member mentioning civil war.
I understand we're discussing a civil war.
Now, strife is typical between NCR, Caesar's Legion, and Brotherhood of Steel. Now, considering they mention the Commonwealth and see the Pridwin, an airship from the Commonwealth Brotherhood of Steel faction, it means that they're not focusing on war between the three warring factions, but a civil war between the East and the West Coast Brotherhood of Steel. We also see the awakened members from Vault 31 out on the surface being led by Norm. Now, later in the trailer, Lucy goes through the Vault Tech Corp office that Hank cleaned up with people working in it. Now, this could be a vision of sorts, but perhaps Lucy made it to Vault Tech to confront her father and see his evil efforts. And you would have to wonder where he found all these seemingly non-radiated, clean-looking people if they're alive at this moment in time. Most likely, these are the reawakened Vault 31 members who made it to New Vegas and who were hired by Hank. Now, the workers look like they were right out of the vault, and it would be the perfect scenario for Hank, considering that they were all meant to be the leaders of Vault 32 and 33. Now, this would then lead to Hank being reunited with both of his children, who know the sins of his past. But we will just have to see. All right, that is everything for the Season 2 premiere of Fallout that we found. Let us know if we missed anything down in the comments below. And I'm curious, whose storyline has you the most intrigued? I also want to give a huge shout out to Srinidhi Rao and Ethan Ng, who together co-wrote this video. You can find their social links below, or you can find them on our free to join Discord server. And hey, if it's your first time here, please be sure to subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Colton Ogburn.